And hello, everyone. Welcome back to FPL in the Trenches, Frontline Prediction League. Frontline League on Twitter. Frontline Prediction League is the YouTube channel right here. You're watching it on. Like, favorite, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And give us a follow over on Twitter. There's stuff happening there as well. This is the Backlash preparations because we're kind of in the middle of no show last week, no show next week. It's a little in between. So it's going to be a quick one where we talk about some stuff and move on. I'm your co-host, Scott. Joining me, as always, is BeerMe. How you doing, BeerMe?
I'm doing pretty good, Scott. I had a pretty good weekend. I seen the new Evil Dead movie, and it was pretty good. So, other than that, I'm doing all right. It's allergy season, so kind of
here we go.
bearing through that. Yeah, you know how that is. But how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I saw John Wick this past week, and it was very awesome. The fourth one is very, very good. We were just talking movies, honestly, while we were getting ready to record this. So, yeah. You might notice this is a little different. It's Sunday, April 30th. We're a little delayed on this one, but don't worry. It's not going to be that long, because we don't have much to announce. There's a little bit to talk about, though, because Backlash is the next show. Backlash is coming up Saturday, May 6th. It is Saturday, keep that in mind. 8 o'clock Eastern, so a 7 o'clock deadline with a 7 o'clock pre-show with a 6 o'clock deadline, so keep that in mind for next weekend. May's tomorrow, for crying out loud, but it is next weekend. Keep that in mind. It is going to be an interesting one. We've got the World Championship being defended. We've got a lot of championships actually being defended, BeerMe. James Blake, though, the World and European Grand Prix champion, is defending against Luke Gray. This could be Luke's shot to take the world title. He has pinned pretty much like the Rumble winners. He's pinned the champions. He's pinned other champions. He's basically beat everybody except the champion in the title match. So he is really Blake's first big threat as world champion, and it could all end right here when Luke takes the gold. We'll talk more about specifics next week, but just on a gut feeling, where do you see it right now? Where do you think it's going? Do you think Blake retains coming out of Mania, or is Luke going to take that belt?
I'm rooting for Luke, but I think that James Blake's going to retain.
I kind of see that a little bit. I can kind of see that. Just the way things are. Like it is rare that there's a title change right after Mania, but we could see. Blake already did retain his European title at Rebellion, so he's been busy. Like he's already had to defend a belt coming out of Mania, so he could do it again here. You also are defending a title, BeerMe. It's the must-see good guys, BeerMe Jesus and the GMSG, defending the Continental Tag titles against the MBPA, former champs who took the titles from them, Alexander Kennedy and Dion Blade. No stipulation, no fanciness, no nothing, just straight up 2-on-2 tag match. Do you think you're going to retain, or is history going to repeat itself?
Hopefully it'll be 1-1 after.
That's what you were saying last time. Unfinished business there. Like all they gotta do is win that chance back, and it's still you get the rubber match down the line. So there you go. We'll look more on that later, but the next contenders will be decided here because we have a number one contenders match with Annex Asylum, Captain Krulex Blackwell, and Static facing the Light of the Cult, Danny Light Jordison, and Kurt Cult. So even if MBPA do lose, they'll still have to wait their turn to get another shot, which they can absolutely earn, just like they did this one. It's not that they got it because they were former champs. They earned it at Mania. This, though, it is the Annex Asylum or Light of the Cult. I know we're kind of rooting for Light of the Cult just because, but I know you don't want them to get it because you want them to win, but not against you guys, right? So you're hoping for Annex on this one, if I remember correctly. So we're cutting in here. We got BeerMe sound figured out. BeerMe, if I remember correct, you kind of want Light of the Cult to win later, not while you're champ. So you wanted Annex Asylum to win here because that's who you want to defend against because you want Light of the Cult to win it down the line, right? Like, not that you don't want Annex, but you really want Danny and Kurt Cult to get it down the line. And you don't want to be the ones to stop them, so.
No.
Yeah.
That's not.
All right, and we got an Inferno match. An Inferno Hell in a Cell match. Broken Nerd and Jonathan C.T. Martin. It's CT, so you're picking against him, and it's Nerd, you're picking him, FBU, so we'll then move on. We'll talk more on these next week for our final picks, but Canadian title, Monkey Bong and Pain. We got the first round matches. Again, we'll kind of skim through this right now. Atlas and Jace, J-Mac and Halcyon, me versus El Cid, and Arbiter versus Hero. And, of course, the show opens with JJ versus Mark Harper, which I think is the most 50-50 match that we've talked about this. We can see this going either way. Like I said, new champion, new challenger. It's very interesting with that hardcore steel cage match. But we do have some kickoff matches. We got Ash versus Michael Marsh, and Rate Russell versus Supreme Rock, and James Costner versus Surf Dog. as well as the Tag Team Open Challenge of FTT, Rick Gillen, and Billy Grayson versus an unknown team. And we got a closed bracket on that. CT will see that and probably fix that up. I have one match to announce. It is on the kickoff. It is Chappers versus Mr. Glee, the co-winner of the Rumble versus Chappers here. Should be interesting. I'm curious to see Chappers trying to get back on track with things. He kind of ran afoul a little bit. The Creatures reunion didn't go quite as well as they'd hoped, so he's back on track, hopefully, here. So we'll see what happens there. What's your match to announce, though, BeerMe?
I have a kickoff match of Chef Urban taking on Tino.
Ooh, former world champ versus a perennial contender. So that really feels like Urban's to win, but this could be something like we always say with guys like Tino, where he could turn it around and suddenly here he goes, right? Like it's Tino time. It could always be Tino time, right? So that could be it. Of course, we have lots coming up after that. Night of Champions is there. We've got Battleground. Yes, that is May 28th. As is Double or Nothing. We are chronologically having the NXT show happen first, quote unquote, because Double or Nothing is a main show, but takeovers are like smaller, so like it's weird. It's weird. I think maybe it's the other way around because it's the first time we've had to deal with this ever in that where there's simultaneous shows, like literally both starting at 8 p.m. So more on those as we get toward the end of May for how the specifics of that's going to work. But the order they're in here is the order they're going to happen in our canon. So like Battleground happens and then Double or Nothing happens. So I think it is probably like the first show, the one that people are going to watch is the first one. So that might be the NXT one. I think that was our thought process. Really, is it like maybe the first one is the one that matters, and then the other one, like it's a weird thing. But there's a big tag match and a tag match here, but then there's title matches on the others. So they're both main shows, though. Keep that in mind. Simultaneous main shows. Forbidden Door is after that, which is a main show, but a weird one because of the New Japan thing. So there's some ideas and some fun stuff coming there. Money in the Bank. Do remember that is Saturday, July 1st, but it's from the UK, so it's probably going to be like a 1 p.m. time, same as what Clash was. So like middle of the day kind of stuff. So that's that one. We have Slammiversary, Saturday, July 15th. And then we have SummerSlam, which I believe is Saturday, August 5th. And it's fun because I get to scroll down here and see that graphic. WrestleMania 2024, I Face JMSG. So, over on our Twitter, go check that out because we do have a note about Double or Nothing where the Money in the Bank is going to have a factor on that because there's the Casino Battle Royale. The winner of that will be the first entrant into Money in the Bank. There's an article there on our Twitter. Do go check that out. And if you do go there, you'll get to see things like, if we had a draft, who would you pick? Stuff like that. And promos for the upcoming matches. So please check that out. It is Frontline League over on our Twitter. It's a lot of fun. And yeah, it all leads up to Backlash and Night of Champions, Battleground, Double or Nothing, and a lot of stuff is happening. A lot of stuff going, sometimes all at once. And it's pretty crazy. And honestly, BeerMe, we're coming up on the 10-minute mark, and that's it. We got nothing else for this one. Yeah. It happens sometimes, and that's okay. It's a Saturday afternoon show, and we're in and out, done and done. Anything else you want to say for the weekend? As I mumble that one out even.
Not really. Just see y'all next week.
Yeah, it's a rare, brief moment. It's going to suddenly get busier. I mean, yeah, May 6th, and then it's the end of May with 2 shows, so there's going to be some gaps in between, but we are building towards a triple weekend, actually, because we've got Saturday, Sunday, Sunday for the end of May. So there's going to be a lot of stuff coming very fast and furious through the month of May as we build towards those with the fallout from Backlash. So should be interesting on that one. The Backlash from Backlash. Yeah, so check all that out. Thanks again for watching. Again, Frontline Prediction League here on YouTube. Frontline League on Twitter. Top of the Card Pod is our podcast. Do check that out. The WrestleMania episode should be out, I believe, with Matt Zion guesting on that one. We had a lot of fun, talked for nearly 2 hours about actual wrestling. You can find that on Spotify, on iTunes, on all that fun stuff. And it's Top of the Card Pod on Twitter. All that goes into our Discord. You can see our live event chat talking about stuff from everything from the draft on Friday night, the draft coming up on Monday, talk about the character chat, look at these write-ups and things. They're all in there as well. So check all that stuff out through the Discord for both. They're both all in one. And yeah, we'll leave it at that. Thanks again, everybody. Have a good night.